Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I will be talking about another Angry Birds mod, but it's for seasons. The mod we will be talking about is Angry Birds Adventures. Now before I begin, I just wanted to apologize for how long the last video took. It's been around 6 months by the time that it was released. If you haven't seen it, check it out after this one, as I think it's one of my best videos. And again, sorry about the no mic thing. As soon as I get one, I'll use it. Anyways, with the intro out of the way, let's talk about this mod. Angry Birds Adventures is sort of like Angry Birds Project R, except it's for seasons instead of classic. The mod itself was made by TCD729, and the mod itself, of course, will be in the description of this video. Now, I do not have a release date, unfortunately, but it started out on Angry Birds Classics engine. Yeah, it didn't even start with Angry Birds Seasons. But when the mod started out, there were 2 episodes you could play, Spooky Surprise and Wintry Joy. We'll get to those in a minute. But unfortunately, the mod was cancelled. On April 28th, 2023, the mod was taken down. And it wouldn't see the light of day again. That was until 2 months later, when the mod was back. And in August, there was a huge update, 2.0.0 released, adding a ton of new stuff to the mod, porting it from 2.3.0 of Angry Birds Classic to 3.1.1 of Angry Birds Seasons. The mod got an entire makeover with a new logo, adjusted bird designs, custom pig designs, a revamp of Spooky Surprise and Wintry Joy, and 2 brand new levels, Easterside Fun and Space Chase. January 28th of 2024, they added Dragon of the Year, and later on May 26th of 2024, they added Foul Fools. That's basically where the mod is at now. One more thing. The description of the mod is, the King of the Pigs have hatched various plans throughout the year. Some take place during Halloween, and some during Easter. Work with the birds to stop the King's plan and save the eggs, no matter what day, month, or year. The mod aims to revive the beloved Angry Birds Seasons format of having episodes based on certain seasons and holidays throughout the year. Now, with all that said, let's talk about Episode 1. Really quick, JP, again, if you're watching this video, I apologize for not 3-starring every level of your mod. I should have done so, but it's too late now. Anyway, there are no beginning cutscenes to this mod, unfortunately, so we are immediately placed in the first level. As you can see, the background is very Halloween-y, which is perfect for right now. I hope. I'm really hoping this is released in October. Anyway, lots of darker colors and scarecrows in the background. Now, you may have noticed our birds don't look quite the same as they used to, and that's because they all decided to be skeletons this Halloween. Some of the pigs are also wearing pumpkin hats to celebrate the season. In Level 2, we are introduced to a new type of pumpkin, the Exploding Pumpkin, which does appear in Angry Birds Seasons, but not until much later, 7 whole episodes after Trick or Treat. In Halloween, where the Exploding Pumpkins introduced for the first time. For the sake of this video, though, I will only compare levels to the first appearance of the holiday in Angry Birds Seasons. So for this one, I will be comparing it to Trick or Treat. Anyway, Spooky Surprise has the gimmick of the Exploding Pumpkins. All the episodes have their own little gimmick that will be used very often, and is often necessary for getting a 3-star score. Meanwhile, Trick or Treat doesn't really have anything special about it. There really isn't any reoccurring theme within it. Unlike later Halloween episodes, it serves as a tutorial for learning how all the birds work, essentially. The difficulty of Spooky Surprise is not really difficult, which makes sense as the episode also serves as a tutorial of sorts, but I'd say much less so than Angry Birds Seasons. But none of the levels are hard to 3-star. Meanwhile, in Angry Birds Seasons, I believe that the earlier episodes were made too difficult. I mean, I get if you're trying to make it challenging for players returning from Angry Birds Classic, because Poached Eggs was a much easier time. But I think they made the earlier episodes too hard, especially for newer or inexperienced players. So, which one of these two episodes is better anyways? Well, in my opinion, Angry Birds Adventure's Halloween episode is the superior one. It's just so much easier to not only beat, but also 3-star every level in this episode. But also, it is shorter than Trick or Treat. Personally, I prefer more levels in Angry Birds than shorter ones, but that's up to you to decide if it's better or not. So for this one, Angry Birds Adventures 1 and Angry Birds Seasons 0. The episode immediately starts out with gifts, which, like the pumpkins, will be necessary most of the time for a 3-star score. Now both of these episodes do something really cool that I really like. They use an advent calendar. It's honestly really cool that they did this, and I personally believe it's the best level select screen in all of Angry Birds. None of the others really do this one justice. It's simple, yet really creative, and in Angry Birds Seasons, back when the episode was released, until the 25th. Now, the levels in Angry Birds Adventures are a little bit harder than Spooky Surprise, which is what I would expect. I want my second episode to climb the difficulty ladder just a little bit, so that way it challenges the player more. It's what I expect out of any game. Meanwhile, Angry Birds Seasons does the same thing, but I don't think Seasons greetings needed to be harder. Trick or Treat was already hard enough, and now we gotta deal with annoying snow blocks. It probably is my least favorite part of Angry Birds Seasons, and of course, the level design does get better as we move forward, but for this specific episode, it really wasn't great for beginners or inexperienced players. The gimmick for Angry Birds Adventures is the present, which will give 3,000 points when destroyed. These furnace things that will explode, and some snow. Of course, there are Christmas decorations all over the map, and there are even some structures like houses and trees. It's a fun time all around. Now, Angry Birds Seasons, I really wanted you to be better here. I know it's not entirely your fault that your 2010 days weren't designed the greatest, but we gotta talk about something. The snow. See, the snow, it seems simple, right? You just break through it and kill the pigs. Well, the problem with the snow is it's not easy to break multiple pieces. Now sure, does it sound like I'm complaining about something very minor? Yes. Yes it does. But almost every level has snow in it, and a lot of it too, making it so much harder to break through. Also, the snow isn't a physics object, they just float in the air, which renders the entire point of physics-based puzzles wrong for this episode. It really isn't physics-based puzzles, it's trying to break through the wall of snow puzzles. Later episodes, thankfully, have less of a problem with this, but it shouldn't have even been a problem at first. Anyways, that's my little random rant about snow being horrible over. So, because of snow and how much there is to break, this episode in Angry Birds Seasons, in my opinion, is one of the hardest to 3-star, when it really shouldn't be. And Tony doesn't even appear yet, unlike Angry Birds Adventures. So because of all these reasons, I'm going to have to give another point to Angry Birds Adventures. Angry Birds Adventures 2 and Angry Birds Season 0. And now it's time for
Wit Trivia Fact
with your host, Little C Rulo 85. Welcome back to Quick Trivia Facts, the show where we tell you quick trivia facts about a certain topic because it really doesn't fit with any other section. Ready, set, go. The mod was originally planned to be called Angry Birds Matilda's Adventure. There were plans for a 1.2.0 update adding Eastertide Fun only, but this was scrapped and Eastertide Fun was moved to the 2.0.0 update. Just like in Seasons, there was an intro for Spooky Surprise, but it got removed just like Trick or Treat. The same case also happened with Winter Joy and Eastertide Fun. Although Eastertide Fun's cutscene was only in the never-released 1.2.0. Nabbit originally appeared in the Spooky Surprise 3-star Golden Egg. Later, Angry Birds Nabbit's Raid, spin-off based on Nabbit, was created. The 2.2.0 added crossovers with Mid-Birds and Project R. Eastertide's fun level and art are different from 2.0.0 and 2.2.0. Dragon of the Year is the first episode to feature a fully custom background with custom blocks made by Rubik. Or is that Rubus? I think it's... I'm gonna call him Rubik, even though there's an 8. The pigs got custom designs in version 2.0.0 made by Fandu. When Matilda uses her ability, she will not be shriveled up, and instead her face will only change, similar to modern Angry Birds games. The loading screen in 1.1.0 resembles the season's greeting loading screen, although Red's hat is not blown off. And custom is misspelled in one of the trivia facts on the wiki page. Thanks, fandom. Whoever wrote that, thank you for misspelling custom. Very cool. It's spelled cut stomp. Yeah, it's cut stomp. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this edition of Quick Trivia Facts. Let's get back to the main show. This episode starts out like any other. Has a few pigs, introduces our 3,000 point item, in this case being a paint bucket, and a new explosive egg. This will be the main gimmick of Eastertide Fun. You may have noticed a trend where all the main gimmicks are explosive. This will not always be the case, but generally it is the case. Anyways, this episode takes place during Easter, so there's pigs with rabbit ears and there are eggs all over the place. Same thing with Easter eggs. Speaking of Easter eggs, let's talk about Angry Birds Seasons again. Easter Eggs was released in 2011, and honestly, since October of 2010, they really did improve their level design. I didn't really struggle with any of the levels, and it's also short and sweet. So good job Angry Birds Seasons on doing better. Now, Eastertide Fun is harder than the first two episodes, which again is good. It's great. Exactly what I would want from any game. But it's not extremely difficult, so good game design. Easter Eggs is the same way. Like I said, it's easier than the 2010 episodes, but it's the difficulty I would have wanted from Angry Birds. There are no huge towers, it's not a bunch of blocks blocking the pigs. It's just a lot better. The only problem I have with these two levels is that they don't feel very unique. Like, neither Angry Birds Seasons nor Angry Birds Adventures really took the Easter theme and made it truly unique. I mean, you got eggs laying all over the place, but I don't really consider it very unique. I think the ideas are good, but they just both execute them boringly. So even though these two are definitely some of the less good levels in the game, it's still not bad, just boring. So which one of these are better anyways? Which do I think is more fun? Or did the Easter theme better? Personally, I think Angry Birds Seasons did it better here. So good job Angry Birds Seasons on scoring a point. Angry Birds Adventures 2, Angry Birds Seasons 1. Alright, Space Chase is really unique. So it's not, in fact, a season. It never was in Angry Birds Seasons. Matter of fact, it's a lot more like Angry Birds Space. Yep, that's right, it's now 1v1v1. Can Space tie with Seasons, or will it be bottom forever? Well, let's see. So the thing about Space Chase is, there's literally no gravity at all. So you shoot your bird into a straight shot and that's it. Now, was it fair to compare one episode of the mod to the entire game of a multi-million-dollar studio? No. But I'm doing it anyway. I think with Space it's kind of the same way. The birds have no gravity until they enter one of these gravity fields. When they do, they will be once again affected by gravity, and the birds in space have brand new abilities sometimes. Now obviously, Angry Birds Adventures can't do this. It's still based on Seasons engine, and so you don't have the abilities of Laserbird, let's say. That's also the reason that there aren't any gravity fields, because there were none in Seasons. There was no point in having one. Some of the levels do look like they were sort of ripped from space though, like this one. Do look like they were sort of ripped from space though, like this one right here. It isn't an exact match, but you can clearly tell it looks similar. So is Space Chase bad for doing this? No. It was still the episode is still a lot of fun. It clearly does take inspiration from space, along with the space race between the USA and the USSR around 50 years ago. I almost forgot to talk about this level's gimmick. I mean, it's zero gravity, yeah, but that's not all. There's also these bubbles that act just like Angry Birds Space, and a brand new type of explosive. Rather than being essentially a reskinned TNT block, along with the TNT blocks, it's instead a cannon that will fire TNT endlessly. Yep, it never stops, unless it is destroyed. Also, the Space Chase levels tend to last much longer than any of the other levels. Why? Well, that's because of the zero gravity. Yep, as soon as something is hit, the only way for it to slow down is for it to hit something else, and the level will not end for a very long time. I mean, it will end, but it takes so much time. Meanwhile, Angry Birds Space doesn't have this problem. Sure, most of the levels are in the gravity field, but even the ones that aren't, they take a couple minutes to end. They end much quicker, and I don't fault the creator for that. I fault the engine itself for having the limitation of this, but at the end of the day, it's a very minor problem. The skip button is still there, as long as you beat all the pigs. So which one of these is better? It's Angry Birds Space. Space Chase is good, but Angry Birds Space just does the concept a lot better, mostly because it was built around the space concept. Angry Birds Adventures 2, Angry Birds Seasons 1, Angry Birds Space 1. Now let's talk about Part 2. Okay, this is not its own episode. We're still talking about the exact same episode, Space Chase. So why am I calling it Part 2? Well, you see, we're not talking about Angry Birds Space anymore. No, we're talking about Angry Birds Star Wars. Yeah, you thought this was just Angry Birds Seasons and a little bit of space? Nope, Star Wars is now here. We will be comparing the second part of Space Chase to Death Star 1 from Angry Birds Star Wars. As you can see in Angry Birds Adventures, it went straight from being in space to a laboratory. Now, Angry Birds Star Wars does something similar, but it doesn't go just straight inside. You can see the birds making progress as they go deeper and deeper within the Death Star. But even the TNT cannon that was introduced feels similar to the guns that some of the Stormtrooper pigs have, which shoot lasers occasionally, though less explosive. That being said, Star Wars is still much more story-driven than any of the episodes in this mod, as it has to be. I mean, it's based on Star Wars. You're gonna have some story from Star Wars. Space Chase's gimmick is similar to what it was before, that being no gravity, but this time it's lower gravity. So birds will still fall, but at a slower rate. It never is explained how they boarded the ship that the pigs are on, and presumably just doing research on. But why did they even want to go in the first place? I mean, these pigs don't seem to be trying to be hostile, they're just doing science. And then some birds come in and start murdering their teams one by one. I don't trust the birds here. Unlike Star Wars, where the intention was to stop Darth Vader from using his Mega Death Star to literally destroy entire planets. That is a well-justified reason to board a ship and kill everyone on board one by one. Of course, though, the birds in Angry Birds Star Wars still don't have special abilities, unlike the Star Wars counterparts, where each bird has their own unique move, so Star Wars gets the edge here. However, due to the fact that it's not zero gravity anymore, levels will not take a couple minutes to complete, so there is improvement from Space Chase 1. Same thing goes for Star Wars 1, but it never had that problem. So I think we're finally done talking about Space Chase. So which one is better? Well, Star Wars. Space Race 2 is good, but don't get me wrong. But when you're going up against Angry Birds Star Wars, especially with Death Star 1, it's hard to compete against. Angry Birds Adventures 2, Angry Birds Seasons 1, Angry Birds Space 1, and Angry Birds Star Wars 1. Golden eggs are probably the best part of any Angry Birds game. You play them, and they vary from why isn't this just a normal level, to all the way,
that was really cool. Wow, 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 that was really cool.
Wow, that was very cool. Now, I want to talk about all the golden eggs of the episodes we have covered for all the Angry Birds games, and decide which one of them I like best. Starting off is Angry Birds Adventures. I'm probably missing golden eggs, but I don't know where they are, so I will cover the ones that I do know the locations of. In Spooky Surprise, there is a golden egg with the restaurant of sorts saying pea food at the bottom in stone. I presume this is pig food. though I don't know why there are explosives. In Wintry Joy, there is some sort of pachinko machine, a level where you break the rope and it beats it automatically. One with Nabbit from New Super Mario Bros. U, which, by the way, throws TNT. Hey look, it's Bomb Bomb. Remember my Angry Birds Seasons unused content? Yeah, this is the same bird. Check that video out if you haven't already. And another level that completes itself automatically. One that is a disco brawl for some reason, and one where the pigs seem to be building a satellite on a space station. Now, if you 3-star these levels, you also get a bonus level. I'm only going to do it for the mod because I don't want to take a very long time trying to 3-star over 100 levels. So, for Spooky Surprise, the Ghost Pig is basically Darth Vader. In Wintry Joy, we destroy King Pig's Oink Shop. In Eastertide Fun, using Nabbit, we activate a bunch of triggers, destroying the pigs. And in Space Chase, we get these weird birds. I don't know where they're from, but the level looks very Canadian. So it's probably Canadian. Alright, for Angry Birds Seasons, it has one golden egg, not including the 3-star egg for Trick or Treat, which is supposed to be an automatic beat it level, but can break. And for Seasons Greetings, there is one where it's a snowflake. And for Seasons Greetings, and there is one where it's a snowflake. Okay, Easter eggs has a lot. Some sort of helix design, a weird one where pigs pop from the ground and rain from the sky. Some sort of castle bomb must blow up.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Another automatic level, a reference to YouTube. One where pigs are essentially bungee jumping to their death. Also nice. A water wheel, essentially, a reference to Skype, and one more automatic level. Time. Alright, Easter eggs done. Angry Birds Space has 10 golden eggs total. We got Space Invaders, Super Mario Bros., Arkanoid, Bubble Bobble, Star Castle, Pong, and one where the level is based off Trouble, the board game, Tetris, Pac-Man, and a pinball machine. And Angry Birds Star Wars. Specifically in Death Star 1, there are 2 total, both of which are very hard to get, but are supposed to be sort of automated levels where all you have to do is shoot a couple birds. Now, whichever game has the best golden eggs, in my opinion, will earn an extra point. So which one of them will be? Which one is the best golden eggs? And the answer is... Angry Birds Space. Angry Birds Space has the best golden eggs. I really do like the idea of recreating classic games with Angry Birds, even though there were only 10 of them, and they were all awesome recreations of what games were 40 to 60 years ago. So our score now is Angry Birds Adventures 3, Angry Birds Seasons 1, Angry Birds Space 2, and Angry Birds Star Wars 1. Nope, I didn't type that wrong. The episode is called Dragon of the Year. Turns out 2024 was also Year of the Dragon, for the Chinese New Year, which both Year of the Dragon and Dragon of the Year take inspiration from. Both of these levels have the main same gimmick, which are these fireworks. They suck though. Mostly because of how hard they are to activate, and they're not even guaranteed to head in a certain direction, destroying the structures. So I don't like fireworks. But it's a much better gimmick than snow. Now, as for the levels themselves, for the Dragon of the Year side of things, I believe that it is an improvement over Eastertide Fun, but a downgrade from Space Chase. But with that said, it's still a very good level. Unfortunately, neither episode actually contains the structure of a dragon, which I think is a missed opportunity. I mean, imagine having to destroy a dragon with pigs inside. That would have been awesome. As for backgrounds, I think Year of the Dragon has the edge because I really love the background for it. It's magnificent. Not that Dragon of the Year's background is bad at all. Far from it. They look better than Poached Eggs for sure. Sorry, Poached Eggs. Now, as for difficulty, I think Year of the Dragon is easier. Not easier than Easter eggs, but easier than Trick or Treat or Seasons Greetings. Year of the Dragon is kind of the in-between, which is the difficulty I like out of Angry Birds. Meanwhile, Dragon of the Year is a bit more luck-based to 3-star than I would like. It's very much possible, and every episode has at least one hard level, but Dragon of the Year has the has had the most so far. But I don't think most people are going for 3-starring every level of the episode, so in general, it's good. I also want to say that they did tone down the huge structures that dominated the early episodes in Year of the Dragon, which I really do appreciate, because that felt unfair to me. But Year of the Dragon does better, so good job, Year of the Dragon. So how do I personally rate Dragon of the Year compared to Year of the Dragon? I really do like both, but I think I'm going to have to give the edge to Dragon of the Year. Again, both episodes are really good, I just prefer the design of Dragon of the Year more. Angry Birds Adventures 3, Angry Birds Seasons 1, Angry Birds Space 2, and Angry Birds Star Wars 1. Okay, so, what episode am I doing this time? I mean, there are some St. Patrick's Day episodes, but that's not what this is. This is April Fools. So what game will I be talking about next? Angry Bird... No, how?
Pass. 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 Smash.
No, I will be talking about the only episode I think that could go up against Foul Fools. The episode in question is, drumroll please, Mighty Hoax. Basically, the pigs are trying to fool the birds with cardboard cutouts. I don't know how the episode itself relates to it, but that's the plot. Both episodes are kind of similar in my opinion. Foul Fools involves the pigs trying to fool the birds by having these little switches that, when broken, will change something about the level. Like maybe a block will disappear, or a pig will drop down from the sky on a rope. Now, Mighty Hoax doesn't really do that actually, but where I think they're both similar is that both of them seem like sort of a battlefield. I mean, the pigs in Mighty Hoax are in tanks of sorts, and have seemed to have bombs implanted underground. While Foul Fools doesn't do this exactly, there are multiple times where the cannon launcher is used against the birds, and is probably used the most in this episode. Both of them are trying to fool the birds in a way, disguised or by activating hidden switches from the birds that the birds can't possibly know about. And that's the gimmick of these episodes, to fool the birds, using different tricks, but that's the point of both. Now, both of these episodes are rather difficult. Both of them are a lot harder than the previous episode. I mean, the difficulty spike between Dragon of the Year and Foul Fools was insane. I felt like I was playing Trick or Treat again. Because honestly, Foul Fools felt more like an open world game than physics, because it was so big sometimes. Oh, and this burnt meat looking thing is an explosive. Anyways, this entire episode is meant to be a trick. It's meant to fool the player. Sometimes I didn't even know why something exploded, or why something activated, but it does. By the way, this came out in May. Yeah, I probably could have timed the release better. And as it turns out, it felt like an open world game for a reason. They pulled a Mario 3 on us. And as it turns out, it is also just a play. Also, JPA made a song for the final boss of Foul Fools, adding to that play feel. But also, I think it's just really cool because Angry Birds Project R was awesome. Thanks, JP. If you're watching this and made it this far, of course. So I guess they did fool all of us. The entire episode literally doesn't matter. It was just a play after all. I think that's part of the reason why it's one of the best episodes in this mod. Because this episode did its job so much more effectively than any other episode. It was just a fool. Oh wait, I was supposed to be talking about Mighty Hoax. So right after poached eggs, the eggs were stolen once again. The birds find out that the pigs are using cardboard cutouts of King Pigs now. Nothing new is introduced though. When you do actually defeat King Pig though, it turns out it was just a cardboard cutout, meaning the real King Pig was still out there. Might I add that the cutout was really convincing considering the birds were fooled by it not once but twice. The real King Pig retreats after the second time though. Really quick, I might talk about this another time, but King Pig in the classic games is actually really smart. Like, he probably reads Sun Tzu. He may lose every time, but he takes Sun Tzu's words and uses it to better his strategy. For Mighty Hoax, I believe he used the "all war is deception" quote, and took it to a more extreme by deceiving the birds multiple times. And as much as I do like the Toons version of King Pig, I really do appreciate the smart, intelligent King Pig too. So which one of these is better? Was it the one that was just a play and has triggers that when destroyed activate something else? Or was it the clever plans of King Pig to steal the eggs from the birds, and almost succeeding, because his cardboard cutout was just so good? Well, I personally believe the better one is... Drumroll again, please. It's Foul Fools. Okay, maybe it's not that big a surprise that Foul Fools won. It did its job of fooling the player extremely effectively. The fact that the triggers activate new stuff when destroyed, and it turning out to be a play, fooling the player into believing it actually happened, was great. So congratulations, Foul Fools, on being so effective at your job. Angry Birds Adventures 4, Angry Birds Seasons 1, Angry Birds Space 2, and Angry Birds Star Wars 1, Angry Birds Classic 0. And so, our winner is... Angry Birds Adventures. Congratulations. You did better than the original Angry Birds counterparts. Our runner-up had half the points that Adventures did, which was Space with 2 points. Our third place spot goes to Seasons and Star Wars with 1 point, and of course last place, Angry Birds Classic, just didn't beat out the April Fool's level, so 0 points total. Alright, so, how would I rate this mod? Well, I gave Angry Birds Project R an A tier last time. And while I don't think the mod is as good as that one, I do think the mod is great. So Angry Birds Adventures will get a B tier. Great job, TCD729. Your mod was awesome. Well, that's it for this video. The mod was really great. As always, the download link will be in the description. If you did enjoy this video, leave feedback or say something. Check out my previous content if you like this, and as always, I will see you guys next time. See you guys.